Christopher and I are not related by blood, but on the day of the accident, I didn't try hard to save him. Instead, he took care of his beloved Sophia first. In the previous life, my love for Christopher is profound. The day he had the accident, I completely ignored others' advice. First, emergency measures were taken for his serious injuries. Because timely treatment was not provided, his white moonlight Sophia became disabled. He was filled with resentment towards me, pretend to marry me. As a result, I got pregnant, brought me a lot of pain. I have been quietly enduring all of this. I always hope for that day. He can be moved by me. After all I've done for him, it's all for his happiness. However, when I was about to give birth, he threw me onto the cold snow. My baby and I froze to death in the snow. At my death, I faintly heard him say to me in a cold voice, "You ruined Sophia's life. I hope you and your son can face the consequences for this." Open the eyes again. Found oneself back on the day Christopher had the accident. Hurry up, save Sophia. A sudden urgent sound echoed in the ear. Christopher suddenly opened his eyes, covered in blood, eagerly urging me. I saw his anxious face, not a shred of hesitation. Agreed immediately. Turned to help Sophia in a past life. I rescued Christopher, who was injured more severely than Sophia, right away. As a result, was subjected to his excessive treatment. In this life, I will be more cautious. I immediately directed the nurses to take Sophia to the operating room, underwent an urgent rescue. Sophia's injuries quickly stabilized. Christopher just came out of the operating room. Just a simple bandage, still ignored the pain, hobbled over to me and asked, "How has Sophia been lately? Do you have something to discuss?" Seeing him so anxious, a wave of sorrow washed over me. In the previous life, because of love for him and the responsibility as a doctor, I immediately treated him, who was severely injured. However, he always feels a bit annoyed in his heart. No one can compare to Sophia, even if I am his deeply in love sister. I can't do that either. I try to suppress my inner feelings, gaze at him with complexity. The surgery went very smoothly. She will be discharged soon. Christopher's expression relaxed a bit. After a moment of silence, he still told me uneasily, "I know you've never had a good opinion of Sophia. If you dare to take advantage of this, Sophia got hurt. I will never let you have it easy." Hearing him say this, a sudden wave of sadness washed over me. Am I really so unimportant to you, although I like him? But my love for him has always been sincere. Never thought of causing trouble for Sophia. Christopher glanced at me. There was a hint of disdain in the gaze. The tone has become harsher. Your opinion on Sophia was quite clear before. Who can say for sure? I weakly nodded. No more to say. At this moment, Sophia has woken up. The nurse pushed her out of the operating room. I was about to check on Sophia. At this moment, Christopher pushed open the door forcefully. He mentioned, "Your hospital has other surgeons. Therefore, I'm a bit concerned about your continued responsibility for Sophia's treatment, so I want to switch doctors." Sophia is awake now. She proudly held Christopher's hand, spoke to me provocatively. If I were those people, definitely won't be entangled with Christopher anymore. Christopher's expression immediately changed. He assured Sophia earnestly, "Sophia, I have never accepted any kindness from her. Just say a word. I can kick her out of Christopher's house. He is not my biological child. In fact, just an abandoned orphan. Listen to what they are saying." I bit my lower lip. The nails dug deeply into the palm. Just as I was about to turn and leave, Sophia suddenly called out to me, "Now both Christopher and I are patients. As a doctor, shouldn't it be this way?" I gazed at her, a gentle smile. "Ask the way. Don't you want to change your primary doctor? You can switch now." As soon as I finished speaking, Sophia grabbed my clothes tightly, knocked me to the ground. The intense pain made tears flow down uncontrollably. Everyone knows this was deliberate by Sophia. However, Christopher saw the situation. Even said not a single harsh word to Sophia. Instead, it kicked me. "Stop being pretentious. Sophia didn't put in any effort at all. You fell by yourself. What reason is there to feel aggrieved?" Christopher's words are like steel needles. It hurts my heart in his mind. Sophia has always been the most important person. And I lived with him for over 10 years, never comparable to Sophia. I gritted my teeth, hold back the discomfort inside, slowly stand up from the ground. Looking at Christopher, friendly reminder to him, "Your injury is much more serious than Sophia's. If not treated quickly, in the future, you might face some repercussions." Christopher heard what I said, hummed softly. He glanced casually. He certainly knows his own physical condition. It's obvious. He also thinks that I harbor resentment towards him and Sophia's relationship. Saw Christopher looking furious. I shook my head gently, didn't say anything to him anymore, then turned and left. I really tried my best. If any issues arise in the future, they can't blame me either. After a whole day of work, return home. I'm ready to relax. But unexpectedly, everything in the room had been cleared out. I turned my gaze to my adoptive mother. My adoptive mother, Emily, hummed softly, tossed a list in front of me. Sophia has agreed to marry Christopher. A bride price is still needed. You've been at our house for so long, enjoyed a lot. It's time for you to repay us. Please reimburse us for the expenses you've incurred at our home over the years. This way you can leave. Words from my adoptive mother, Emily, left me speechless. I really didn't expect that. They actually want to throw me out for Sophia. The funniest part is that before I left, they were still figuring out how to profit from me. My parents left early, but what they left me was a fortune of millions. I had just arrived at Christopher's house. They took the money for various reasons. I haven't asked for it all these years. I can't believe they are actually asking me for child support now. This really surprised me. I was thinking, bite the lip. You know, I talked to Emily. I am moving. The child support you want, I have already repaid many times over. I don't have even a dime with me now. I didn't lie to them, been at work for so long. My salary is almost spent. Not a penny was saved, even if they put me in danger now. I can't come up with that much money either. I just finished speaking. Christopher walked out of their room, holding Sophia's hand. He stared at me with a gloomy look in his eyes. Said coldly, "If you don't pay $200,000 today, don't even think about escaping this home." I looked up, coldly looked at Christopher in his eyes. It seems that my only value is to provide continuous support. Besides this, not even a stranger, seeing Christopher's unfriendly gaze, I couldn't help but take 2 steps back. If you don't believe it, you can take a look at my phone. Working these years, to be accepted by them, I almost handed over my entire salary. Not a penny was kept. Sometimes I eat only 1 meal a day, just to help them live a little better. After listening, Christopher gave me a glance. The gaze was filled with disdain. As long as you are willing, there is always a way to find a solution. A friend of mine opened a bar. There is a shortage of staff over there now. Do you want to think about it? Christopher spoke. I was stunned. I really didn't expect he would let me work at the bar. It was actually for those $200,000, although he and I didn't become a couple. However, I am his sister in name. He actually has such inappropriate thoughts. I'm trembling all over, shaking the head vigorously in denial, but Christopher's expression grew increasingly somber. This is not something you can decide. If you don't go, just let others go for a trip. At that moment, the injustice in my heart was unbearable. Cried and told them, I've invested enough over the years. Why can't you consider my feelings? As soon as I finished speaking, Emily immediately gave me a sharp smack. Don't act pitiful here. Helping us is only natural. I consult you because I respect you. Don't be too proactive. Otherwise, we may be forced to take action in their eyes. I'm just an orphan. You can say whatever to do bad things to me. I pressed my hand against my stinging face, shook her head without hesitation. I will never meet your demands. Unless I die, I understand. If I back down on this matter, they will definitely push for more, so I can't agree to their request. Christopher listened to this. The expression suddenly darkened, staring at me. Jessica, this is the last chance I'll give you. Will you agree or not? They are slowly approaching. I feel a bit nervous, just about to take out the phone to call the police. Christopher lunged forward, took my phone, slammed to the ground. Then they started to hit me. Sophia suddenly came over. I pointed at the jade bracelet in my hand and said to Christopher, this bracelet looks nice. It will definitely be worth a lot of money if sold. As soon as I heard this, immediately wrapped the arms tightly around the chest. This bracelet is made of genuine Hessian jade. It's the only inheritance my parents left me. Even if I lose my life, I would never give them this bracelet. Christopher looked at me so nervously, thinking this bracelet might be quite valuable. He suddenly grabbed my hair. Control me, said coldly. That bracelet is just something left behind by your parents. What use is it to us? I begged Christopher with tears streaming down my face. This is the only inheritance my parents left me. I definitely don't want to give it to you. When I pleaded, Christopher grew increasingly angry, grabbed my hair again, bumped me hard into the nearby dining table, suddenly bumped into. My head immediately bled a lot. I gritted my teeth against the pain throughout my body, stood up desperately, thinking about running outside, Suddenly, Sophia seized the opportunity, running quickly towards me, hold my hand tightly, want to take the jade bracelet from me, but she was too powerful. I fell to the ground. A loud sound suddenly echoed. The bracelet my parents gave me suddenly broke. I struggled desperately, glaring at Sophia. I really want you to disappear from my world. Whenever memories of my deceased parents come to mind, this bracelet is always by my side. Seeing this bracelet, it felt like seeing my parents. I really didn't expect that. Now my only concern for my parents has been disrupted by Sophia. If only it could be done. I really want to understand their thoughts. See if they are really that indifferent otherwise. How could you be so heartless to me? I haven't had the chance to run over to Sophia yet. Christopher's hands are like tongs. Suddenly, it tightened around my neck. Is this just an ordinary bracelet? Is this tension really necessary? If you really dare to take action against Sophia today, I can let you see your deceased parents. I struggle with all my might, but they're no match for Christopher at all. I glared at them in anger, shouted loudly, "You continue like this, there will surely be repercussions." If I could have an opportunity now, I really want to take care of all of them. Christopher's expression grew darker. As long as I can smoothly enter the hall of marriage with Sophia, I don't care about anything else. After he finished speaking, it started hitting me again. Christopher's punches fell like raindrops, relentless and unending. But I didn't feel any pain at all. For me, the pain in the heart is much less than the pain in the body now. At the moment when my consciousness started to blur, a familiar person suddenly burst in from outside. She nervously hugged me. "Jessica, don't give up. I'll take you to the hospital right away." I stared at his familiar face. A smile appeared on his face. Next, I fainted. At the moment I was about to lose consciousness, excited voices filled my ears. "Today you hurt Jessica. I won't let you go. You will pay a price for this." When the eyes opened again, I found myself lying on a hospital bed. I opened my eyes again. A handsome face suddenly appeared. His name is Lucas. He is the only son of the most powerful Lucas family in the city. It was a friend I met by chance at a medical seminar in a previous life. Lucas is always pursuing me with full effort. What a pity. At that time, all my thoughts were on Christopher. In the end, the pursuit was unsuccessful. I really didn't expect that. It was him who saved me from the predicament. I looked at Lucas with deep gratitude. "Thank you very much. Otherwise, I would definitely suffer a lot. How cruel I am to Christopher. Never doubted it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so heartless. Leave our flesh and blood relationship in that bone-chilling snow. If it weren't for Lucas showing up just in time, I'm afraid I'm about to face great danger." As soon as Christopher is mentioned, Lucas's face immediately flushed with anger. His family really went too far. Feel free to let me know if there are any needs. I will definitely take charge for you, according to the power of the Lucas family in society. It's so easy to handle a struggling Christopher family at the bottom. I finished listening to him, shook the head involuntarily. I'll take care of these matters. I know how to damage their reputation. Actually, before I get off work today, I had expected that they would go after me. Therefore, I quietly installed a mini camera on myself, captured all their actions. With this video, everything about them can be revealed. Let everyone see their true colors. I want to witness their family slowly lose reputation in this society, completely without a chance to stand. Seeing that a choice has been made, Lucas no longer insisted. He squatted down. "Speak gently to me. If you encounter something tricky, remember to tell me. I will do my best to help you." I smiled softly, gently shook head. "I will handle these matters well. I understand. Lucas is still deeply in love with me. I now think he is a trustworthy person. However, I don't want to trouble him. There are still some things I need to handle myself." After 2 days of hospitalization and recovery, Christopher is back. What I didn't expect was, this time he actually came to apologize to me. "Jessica, what happened a few days ago was actually a mistake on our part. As long as you're not angry with us, we are happy to meet all your requests." That's it. He couldn't help glancing at Lucas next to me. I immediately understood their intention. So she said coldly to him, "Stop testing me. I will never go back to Christopher's house. They just think I have a good relationship with Lucas, wants me to marry him, gain some benefits from this. In the face of power like that of Lucas's family, I will definitely be assigned to work at the bar. Such tactics can't fool me again." I don't give him any face. His face instantly darkened. "Jessica, your household registration is still with our Christopher family. If you leave us, Christopher's family, You will likely have a hard time finding the right partner for your whole life. Hearing that, I really laughed out loud. Even if I never want to get married in my life, it's impossible to go back to Christopher's house. I feel especially uneasy about my hostility towards them, even if it means tearing apart relations with them. I will never allow them to succeed. Sophia noticed the tense atmosphere, just couldn't help but stand out, gave me a disdainful glance. Jessica, you and Christopher are family. I didn't expect you to be so calculative. This matter directly affects her interests. If Christopher doesn't get my help, her future life will become very uncertain. I glanced at her, responded coldly. How can you say that to me? You are hurting me and damaging my bracelet. Have you ever thought that we are a family? They are coming over to express their feelings to me. Am I really being treated like a 3-year-old? Jessica, don't think I'll be afraid of you just because someone has my back. If I'm not happy, I will make you feel uncomfortable too. He was talking. The tone gradually grew heavier, clearly trying to fight with me in his heart. Sophia is his taboo. No one can touch this taboo. Witnessing Christopher's aggressive demeanor, Lucas, standing nearby, finally couldn't hold back and spoke again. If you dare to touch Jessica again today, I assure you that you will be thrown out of here. Christopher glanced at Lucas, said to me firmly, Jessica, I'll tell you, this is not over yet. Christopher spoke. Gently hold Sophia's hand, walk outside. He stepped out of the ward. I noticed something unusual about the wound on his foot. If he doesn't get treated soon, there is a risk of losing the entire leg. Christopher walked away with that person. I quickly went on a short video platform. All the videos of them harming me have been uploaded. I usually enjoy sharing health and wellness knowledge on short video platforms. Therefore, many platforms have accumulated a significant number of followers. Soon, the video of me getting beaten went viral among my fans. The shares are increasing at an incredible rate. I quietly turned off my phone. Such a high number of shares. It is likely to go viral soon. At this moment, Lucas noticed the video I posted next to me. He asked me with a worried expression, Jessica, judge by their actions. Notify the police. It can definitely be considered intentional harm. Have you never thought about this question? I shook my head, whispered to Lucas. It's too easy to call the police. I want them to remember what happened today forever. Lucas nodded slightly, silently gave me a thumbs up. He thinks the same as I do. He thinks, being too lenient on Christopher and his group. In fact, it's being cruel to oneself. Just as we were having a great conversation, Emily's call suddenly came in. I answered the phone. Emily's voice came through immediately. Sounds urgent. Jessica, we all watched the video you posted. I really didn't expect you to do that. Actually recorded all of this. I think it's best to delete all those videos now. Otherwise, it may cause some trouble. Heard Emily's angry voice. I couldn't help but laugh. Please send me the original text. This way I can help you check and revise. You have the courage to do it, but lacks the courage to admit it for them. This is just the beginning. When the discussions online heat up, I am ready to file a lawsuit in court. Ask them to reimburse all types of expenses. These years, they have benefited a lot from me. It's time to send them all back. Emily scoffed, rhetorically asked, You think you're the only one who can do this? I'll tell you. Sophia sought help to deal with several cases of your photo being used without permission. If you don't delete all these videos, I'm sure you'll run into a lot of trouble. As soon as Emily finished speaking, I heard Sophia start to tease. I have come up with a title for you. The Doctor's Private Life. I listened to them. The expression suddenly turned unpleasant. If you really dare to spread this. I called the police immediately. I already knew that the video in my hand was real. I didn't expect them to be so shameless. Would actually use Photoshop to slander me, even if you call the police. I will share your photo too. What does the police want to do with me? This old lady. Emily's tone conveyed confidence and determination. I was just about to speak. Suddenly heard Christopher crying out loud. I know it all too well. His leg injury must have worsened. I felt a little relieved. Christopher is in a bad situation now. They probably don't have time to use PTK's photos to smear me. To be honest, Christopher's feelings for Sophia are truly touching. He saved money for the bride price, hasn't gone to see a doctor until now. It's unknown what would happen to his reputation if he were seriously injured by then. Will Sophia still be by his side like she is now? I suddenly felt a surge of anticipation, just as I expected. Emily didn't talk to me about deleting the video anymore. The phone hung up quickly. I looked up, glanced at Lucas, who looked a bit tired. Lucas, go back and get some rest. I'm fine. Staying alone in the hospital is fine. After all, there isn't any formal relationship between us yet. I also don't want to keep bothering him. Next, whether it's a storm or heavy rain, I hope someone can face it with me. Lucas said to me firmly. No. What will you do if they come to the hospital to trouble you again? The words are not finished yet. Lucas interrupted me, said with a smile, if it's a hassle, then I propose you be my girlfriend. It seems he understood my thoughts a long time ago. I told him without hesitation. If you would like, I can be your girlfriend right now in a past life. Lucas has given me a lot, but I didn't cherish it well. This life, I won't let him down. Actually, if there is an opportunity, I genuinely want to compensate him. Lucas listened to me. The gaze was filled with disbelief. The voice trembled with excitement. He asked, "Did you really promise?" I smiled and nodded gently. After I nodded in agreement, Lucas suddenly hugged me tightly. He said, full of excitement, "It's great that you agreed to help me. I've been waiting for this day for a long time." The conversation ended. Lucas's gaze wandered back and forth across my face, as if carefully examining a precious treasure. I looked at Lucas, that face full of deep affection. Tell him, once I sort out things at Christopher's place, we can get married. My feelings for Lucas have always been very strong. Just because of the gap in status between Christopher and me, I have always been hesitant to take a step forward. I don't want to think so much anymore. I want to muster up courage for him once again. Lucas nodded firmly. Duration doesn't matter. I will definitely wait for you. I shifted my position. Feels like no big deal. Just say it to Lucas. We can be discharged. I need to find a place to stay first. Christopher will probably go to the hospital soon. They might get back in touch then. To prevent this from happening, it's better to find a place to hide far away. Lucas thought for a moment. Her gaze was filled with warmth as she spoke to me. There's a vacant villa by the river at my home. You go stay over there first. Wait until things are sorted out. Let's go buy a new house together. I nodded at him. Express agreement. After all the discharge procedures are completed, we are going to Lucas's villa right now, just when planning to ask Lucas to go buy some daily necessities. Emily suddenly appeared. She saw me, immediately grabbed my collar, seemed particularly excited. Christopher needs surgery on his leg. The surgery cost is $300,000. Now you have a better opportunity. Remember to help him. Otherwise, I might have to bring out your photos. They just took Christopher to the hospital, conducted a simple check. It turned out that the leg he injured had started to necrose. If surgery is not performed immediately, that leg is beyond saving. I pushed her away. Christopher's surgery has nothing to do with me. Stop bothering me like this. I'm going to call the police. I'm not sure how Emily found this place, but I know. These things must be faced. Avoidance is ineffective. Emily listened to me. The tone became even more forceful. The Lucas family is a big family. If you don't hand over the $300,000, I'll drop Christopher off at your doorstep. Let him bother you every day. You can come and give it a try. I haven't said anything yet. Lucas spoke to Emily first. At this point, Emily clearly had no way out. She gritted her teeth, stared at Lucas and said, "Don't regret it. I'll go get Christopher." After speaking, she immediately turned and walked out. I looked at Lucas with a twinge of guilt. "I'm really sorry. Sorry for the trouble." Lucas smiled and gently patted my head, said playfully, "Silly girl, we are officially lovers now. Say you're sorry. It feels a bit distant. No matter what difficulties arise, I will face it with you." I felt a surge of emotion, glanced up at Lucas, cuddled in his arms. Before long, Emily pushed Christopher in the wheelchair over. Sophia followed closely behind them, hastily walked towards us. Emily saw us, crying uncontrollably right there. Her voice soon attracted a few people. Many people gathered outside the villa area to watch. Sophia walked up to us with a teasing expression. She said, "If you don't want to trouble Lucas's family, it's best to honestly prepare $300,000. The Lucas family is so wealthy. There's no need to make this so awkward for the sake of $300,000. Lucas glanced at her, said coldly, "I would rather spend this $300,000 to hire a lawyer to sue you. Don't want to give you the money." I stepped forward without hesitation. Even if Lucas has a lot of money, don't expect to get a dime from us. Seeing us so determined, Christopher, sitting in a wheelchair, angrily asked us, "Jessica, you know our family, the Christophers, has taken care of you for so many years. Are you really going to be so heartless?" I stared at him coldly. "In fact, the grievances between my family and Christopher's have long been settled. Take care of it yourselves." I glanced at Sophia. "These years, Christopher has helped you a lot. Right. You must have 300,000 to support Christopher now. You wouldn't be unwilling to part with this little money, would you? Christopher and Emily heard this. Immediately turned to Sophia next to her. These years, Christopher spent over $1 million on Sophia. Christopher is facing this situation now. Sophia should express something. Listen to what I said. Sophia's expression clearly showed hesitation. She said, "Stop joking. We have spent all of Christopher's money over the years. I can't get 300,000 here." I smiled at Sophia. "No problem even without 300,000. As long as each of us contributes 150,000, can hold onto Christopher's leg. As long as you can come up with 150,000 first, I'll go with you to the hospital to pay right away." They listened to me. There was a hint of anticipation on their faces. Regarding their current situation, my method is a great solution. Sophia listened to this. The expression became even more awkward. She retorted, "I'm not yet your Christopher family's daughter-in-law. Why should I give him this 150,000? Christopher looked at Sophia skeptically. He said, "Sophia, this 150,000 is like a loan from you. I will definitely pay you back when I have money." Sophia scoffed disdainfully. "Your leg is in really bad shape. Who knows if things can really get better? If you are hurt, then who should I go to for reasoning?" Upon hearing this, Christopher, the expression darkened immediately. He stared coldly at Sophia. "Sophia, over the years, I have always been helping you. As long as there is a demand, I will try my best to meet. Don't you want to give me this little bit of money?" Sophia let out a soft hum, responded, "I didn't ask you to sacrifice anything for me. Your choice is your own. No need to blame others." Christopher listened to Sophia. The face was already colorless, now has become paler. He struggled to lift his head. The gaze fell on Sophia. "Since you don't want to spend this money, let it be. I just want to ask, have you really loved me all these years?" As soon as the words were spoken, Christopher stared intently into Sophia's eyes, trying to find some clues from her expression. Unexpectedly, Sophia shook her head without hesitation. "What is love? Can an ordinary person like you say this word? If it weren't for you always being able to fulfill my wishes, I won't even take a second glance at you." As soon as Sophia spoke, I clearly saw Christopher's body tremble slightly, but he soon calmed down, nodded quietly, then said to Sophia, "Considering how long I've liked you, give me a hug at last." Then we went our separate ways. Sophia hesitated for a moment, finally walked towards Christopher. When she approached Christopher, he suddenly drew a dagger from behind, stabbed fiercely at Sophia's heart. Lucas and I exchanged a glance, hesitating whether to step forward and save Sophia. At this moment, Christopher had already drawn the dagger, reinserted into Sophia. When Christopher saw Sophia's body covered in blood, a crazy expression appeared on the face. "Sophia, you owe me a debt. It has to be repaid in your way." Sophia desperately tried to break free from his grip, but Christopher held her tightly, continued, "Since we can't be together, then let's be a pair of lonely souls." Sophia was already seriously injured, but after hearing his words, the expression on the face became more excited, struggled desperately, blood flowed more and more. After a while, she finally stopped struggling. I quickly pulled out my phone and called the police. Since Christopher broke the law, then he must accept the legal punishment. Just as I dialed the phone, didn't wait for the other party to answer, Christopher rolled his wheelchair in front of me. "Stop trying so hard. I have something final to say to you. I have decided to leave this world." I hung up the phone, watch him vigilantly. "Is there anything else you want to talk about?" As soon as I finished speaking, Christopher struggled to stand up from the wheelchair, then with a thud, fell to the ground. "Jessica, in recent years, I've come to realize that as an older brother, I've owed you a lot. I hope you can forgive me this time. If there is an afterlife, I am willing to give you everything." Seeing Christopher's guilty expression, I shook my head immediately. "Some things can't be fixed with just an apology. I don't need any compensation from you. About our argument, let's leave it at that." Having said this, I held Lucas's hand tightly, walked straight ahead, not even a glance back. The hurt he caused me has penetrated deep into my heart. It's not enough for him to casually say a few words and expect me to forgive him. It is obviously unrealistic. Moreover, he has made it this far, all thanks to his own efforts. If he could have trusted me a bit more back then, we wouldn't have come this far. Therefore, I can't forgive him. After all, one must take responsibility for their own mistakes. I got in the car with Lucas. His gaze was full of curiosity. "Aren't you curious about what he will do next?" I shook my head. His life and death are none of my business. Lucas and I went to the mall to buy some everyday necessities. Back to the villa area, the entrance was completely surrounded by police. Christopher did not commit suicide as he said he would. Instead, plead guilty and accept the legal punishment. Emily watched as Christopher was taken away in a police car, frozen in place, pale-faced. The person seemed a bit stunned. I walked forward, frowning, called her, but she showed no reaction. Lucas sighed. Tell me, she must be experiencing a significant psychological shock. Hurry up and call. Let the people from the mental hospital come to pick her up. I nodded, silently called the hospital. Her affection for Christopher is all-encompassing. If it weren't for her excessive pampering, Christopher wouldn't become so extreme either. Soon, the psychiatrist also took Emily away. Everything has returned to calm. I feel very complicated inside, inexpressible. This is their fault, but I also got involved. People, there are always emotions when encountering these situations. It can feel somewhat uncomfortable. Lucas seemed to understand what I was thinking, gently patted my shoulder. Speak gently. Don't overthink. Everything has passed. We need to look ahead, because a better life awaits us ahead. I finally smiled. I nodded vigorously. You are right. We need to look ahead. Not long after, Lucas and I smoothly walked into the halls of marriage. The Lucas family has a good background, but his parents like me a lot. At his house, I felt an unprecedented warmth and affection. In my more than 20 years of life, I've never been this happy before. The second month after we got married, I accidentally saw the police notice about Christopher. Sophia could not be saved, passed away. With the support of the country, Christopher's leg has finally healed. However, he was given a death sentence with a 2-year reprieve. Considering his current age, even if not sentenced to death, he will have to stay in prison until he's 50 to be released. At the same time, Sophia's relatives also demanded a substantial compensation from him. He will come out. It seems like a lifetime of debt repayment, until death. After understanding, I turned off my phone, then turned to look at Lucas beside. Lucas, shall we go on a trip around the world together? When we return from traveling the world, planning to have a child. Lucas listened to these words. Put down the medical record. A gentle expression appeared on the face, staring at me. Which place do you plan to go to first? We're about to leave. I thought about it, proposed to Lucas. Let's go to Hawaii first. I have never seen the sea. Really want to see the ocean in Hawaii. Lucas nodded gently. Immediately arranged for someone to buy the plane tickets. We set off on the first leg of this round-the-world journey together. In Hawaii, I finally saw the ocean and the beach that I had always dreamed of. I run in the sea breeze, chasing the waves, feeling more relaxed than ever. After spending a few days in Hawaii, Lucas and I decided to change our mindset, go do something interesting. So, we decided to go to a place with conflict, in a war-torn place. We use our expertise to help children who have suffered greatly. In that war-torn place, Lucas and I put our all into the rescue efforts. We not only provide medical support for children, also taught them to read and write, tell them about the beauty of the outside world. Until the day the war came to a complete end, we have just set foot on our homeland. Over the years, hundreds of children in war-torn areas have been helped. It's time to have a child that's solely ours. After months of preparing for pregnancy, I'm finally pregnant with our baby. Lucas cares about me a lot, barely let me touch anything. The day the child was born, Lucas rushed in, nervous, hugged me and the little one, Jessica. How have you been lately? I was really worried just now. I smiled and gently nodded. Don't worry. Let's pick a name for the child first. Lucas gently touched the child's little face, thought for a moment and said, just call him Lucas Jr. The name Lucas signifies protection and blessings. I hope he is surrounded by good luck for a lifetime. Do not encounter any misfortunes in life, Jr. It's safety. After going through many trials, I understand now that peace is the greatest blessing. Wishing him peace and safety in the days to come. I gazed into Lucas's eyes, filled with affection, looked again at the sleeping baby in the cradle, filled with happiness, couldn't help but nod gently. Lucas Jr., this name is really nice.